They enable companies to tap into their team's social and professional networks to find high quality employee referrals for their hiring needs. So I'm sure she has quite a few interesting data points. We've also got Zishaan. People in Bombay definitely know Zishaan very well. He's working on his second startup now, the founder of Toppr. In 2008, Zishaan co-founded a phone commerce marketplace called Chapati Bazaar, which was acquired by Future Group. He's quite a prolific angel investor, and he's also one of the first investors in Ola and housing also, coincidentally. And runs an angel investment group called Powai Ventures. And also an IT Bombay grad, right? Moderating the session is our very own Vijay, who in his own words is the co-founder of, well, the lucky co-founder of Blume. He was also with X Hotel. So long experience with startups through different phases also, and now focusing almost entirely on hiring for startups. So with that, Vijay, please take it away.
Hey, hi everyone. I have no idea why everyone's put me on the moderator side. I thought I was supposed to be here and you would ask questions because I also know something about hiring.
Encourage the discussion with give some data point yourself and then ask the others.
Fair, no problem. So, how many of you feel hiring is a pain? Who doesn't feel hiring is a pain? Can we exchange seats? No? Okay. I think it's very interesting that, Hitesh just sort of got up and went. I'm not sure why he's gone. His solution should have solved some problems for us, but it, I guess hasn't. And hence some of us exist. But a lot of respect for what they've done. Want to quickly, obviously, reintroduce Zishaan and Rachna. Zishaan, obviously, building his second company out, and I think he's seen a lot of his portfolio companies because I think he has 79 portfolio companies? 102? 35. Okay, so he has 35 in his portfolio, and he's obviously seen a lot of hiring stuff happen across those companies. I'm sure you keep getting a lot of updates. I think apart from Toppr and the culture that you're building out there, it'd be great if you can share some of those insights as well as I come across and ask more questions. I think Rachna obviously brings in a lot of perspective across from the Valley all the way to India. I think you've been spending time both in the Valley and India trying to see how companies are doing hiring. So I think that'll be interesting because a lot of us in the crowd, I think over here, are also trying to hire in the Valley as well. So I think if there's some interesting anecdotes if you can share from that, that'll be really helpful as well. So I think one of the first topics was talent acquisition, retention, and talent development, right? Everyone talks about talent acquisition, but no one really talks about, and people sometimes mention about retention, etc. But no one talks about talent development, right? And I know you've gone through a journey with a large company where obviously the Future Group used to invest a lot in people, especially their leadership, into training, etc. Why do you think that startups really don't get into this phase of talent development? Hence retention and hence talent acquisition is not that difficult, right? Potentially because a lot of people are losing talent, right? So one of the data points, interestingly, Bangalore, you could have kept people for 2 years, 4 months. Now the average time is like 1 year, 5 months, right? So if any of you are thinking of moving from Hyderabad, Delhi, Bombay to Bangalore, yeah, you'll get more talent, but people will leave faster as well, right? So in this hyper-competitive space, what are your thoughts on that? And from both, right? From Pramati as well, because great entrepreneurs who come up from Pramati as well. Why do you think startups don't think about this?
So first of all, it's not defined how to invest in talent development, right? What do? As a founder, I'm always thinking I'm doing enough. What else should I do to develop the talent? So first, it's not clearly defined what to do. And second, I think it's an urgent versus important stuff. So even if I know that it needs to be done, there is still urgent stuff, right? So startups need to survive, and that is more urgent. And startup talent needs to get developed, that's important but not urgent, right? So urgent is always before important.
I completely agree on the urgent and important thing. See, a lot of us who worked prior to starting our companies, right? We understand that talent development, career planning, all these things are important. But frankly, it's the bandwidth issue. You really don't have the time. You can just focus on the urgent. It's for the good and bad of it, that's it. And from an talent acquisition and retention perspective, I would say, of course, you start with talent acquisition and constantly attracting talent is critical. But once you get the right people, I think what becomes more important is talent retention. And I think like talent development becomes a part of it, but it's really urgent and important. Like you just don't have the time to focus.
So a question to the audience and another data point. So right, so I was talking to Shashank Prato, and out of the first 10 people in his company, 6 of them are still there, right? And his journey's been like for 8 years now. 6 of the 10 people are still there, right? Which is phenomenal. Obviously, there's an early culture piece to it, tremendously there. But I mean, I know for a fact that he's given a lot of them opportunities again and again. Has anyone in the audience, for example, done or seen potentially a lot of good retention tactics internally amongst startups that they've been a part of or are trying right now? I mean, it'd be great to get some anecdotal evidence or some ideas in particular. Just trying to make this more interactive as well. Jas, do you have something?
Sure.
We can hear you.
I think it's frankly a function of how far have you worked in a corporate before a startup. I think because we are mollycoddled in a corporate with all the possible leadership trainings and visits to Goa for an offsite and stuff like that, you have to understand that a little bit. And, we've tried to bring a little bit of our corporate culture. 3 of the 4 founders that we are ex-Microsoft. So we have that high exposure to a large corporate retaining its talent in a good way. We've been subjected to that in the company. So I think that makes a big difference of having that view of what leadership means, what talent means, what growth means, and to provide that environment and not the reverse of the corporate environment. So the freedom of a startup, but with the focus of people's development, I think that's a good mixture to retain talent. We've been lucky with that.
Zishaan, how is the attrition rate at your startups which you invest in?
Well, honestly, I can't speak about my portfolio, but at Toppr, I think my learning around talent has been we have 4 pools of talent. One is the initial crop that joins you on day 0. There, if you have an attrition of even a single person, that means it's a huge setback. So that's my first pool of talent, and so far we will be 3 years old, and so far we have 0 attrition there. The second pool of talent is lateral people that you bring in. So I think there you have some bit of attrition, and this is purely, so that market is purely talent by dollar or talent per rupee kind of a market, and it's my previous package was this. I'm moving a city, so I want this much high. I was doing that, so I want this role.
Kind of a startup, so I need 1.5x them.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah. That's sort of talent pool. But you need the talent pool because they bring in experience and they are more balanced. And the third pool within my company is the freshers who come join from campus. There we have to invest a lot. They bring in a lot of raw energy, but they also take up a lot of resources. The first 6 months are 0 output. They have to be trained. So it's a lot of investment, but they bring in a lot of energy. And you don't know how that goes. You have rockstars there and you have duds there. So it's a very volatile pool. And the fourth pool is, again, equivalent to the first pool, but the fourth pool is acqui-hires. So founders who've run out of cash or are folding a company want to come join, work with you on a similar idea. That pool is again like diamond class, similar to the first pool, just that they didn't start with you but came in laterally. So I think these are the 4 pools that we balance.
Wait, send a question to Rachna, just on this, right? So what kind of a mix have you seen working for you across these 4? And how long, and how does this acqui-hire thing work? Because a lot of us haven't had a chance to do that.
So our product and technology team is about 50 people at Toppr. 9 people are acqui-hires. So 2 startups, 3 and 6, 9 people are acqui-hires. Out of the acqui-hires, so our engineering head is an acqui-hire, our product head is an acqui-hire, and our sales head is an acqui-hire. So essentially,
do you want to tell people how you go about doing it? Because I think there's an interesting piece that people would like to know.
Actually, acqui-hiring or acquisitions are, it depends on where you are, and if you have some capital on your books, it's easier to do it. A lot of times we think that, oh, why should I give up 2% of my equity? I've already raised $5 to $10 million. Why should I give up 2% of my equity to get this team on board? They'll anyways fold within like a few months. And I can always hire this talent for cash, but it doesn't work that way because the talent that comes for cash doesn't bring that passion. they don't eventually lead to teams. So two things, constantly keep looking for teams that you can work with, and keep aside some equity mentally right at the start for acquisitions. I think you can do great.
Sorry, just for Rachna, I can ask this question in particular. So, moving on to the next topic, thanks for on this. So, one of the interesting things that we're noticing in the HR space is that, I'm not sure how many of you noticed, but some of the larger, funded companies or the larger